So we finally arrived in Knysna last episode, and we spent 2 or 3 days tied up alongside the yacht club. We paid our temporary membership fees, which was $150 or $200 a week. Very, very cheap to use the facilities. And we also had to get a permit from the Parks Department to anchor in the Knysna Lagoon. That was about 300 Rand a month, or you could get a year for $1,200, which definitely makes it one of the cheapest places we've spent time so far. I think greatly because we didn't have to be on a walk-on, but it was actually quite nice being anchored out in the lagoon in between the mountains and down and everything. The yacht club is very nice, clean, modern, and with a lot of friendly sailors hanging around. And it's also right next to a small waterfront area which has restaurants and things you can visit, and basically the whole of Knysna is within walking distance, so you can easily do some walking around, exploring and provisioning without the need for a car or a taxi. We couldn't spend all our time tied up to the club, so after we filled the water and a couple of things, we went out to anchor for our first time. We wanted to test out the anchor and everything in Durban, but we just never got around to it, so I guess it's as good a time as any. Okay, everything loose here. We found a spot in about 2 meters of water and waited for the boat to come to a stop before I dropped about 3 or 4 meters of chain out the boat, and then as we slowly drift back with the current, I'll let out more and more anchor until we've let out all of the scope that we needed, about 1 to 7. You don't want to let it all go out at once, because then it will just lump up on top of the anchor and you might not get it to set properly, is what I've read. There was quite a strong current here. Even though it looks like we're going forward, we were actually drifting back. There's quite a lot of water movement here as the tide pushes up and out every day. Well, that's 15 meters, about 1 to 7 scope, another 5 meters canter. It looked like we were standing still, but to make sure the anchor set, we decided to go it in reverse a little bit and make sure it dug in properly. So half is. I was keeping an eye here on the land, seeing if we were moving backwards, but it didn't look like it, and our anchor was set.
Staan definitief stil.
Now, because we were at anchor, we had to do one of my least favorite things is pump up the dinghy by hand to get to shore.
What's happening over here?
The water. Should have had the flipping GoPro already.
That's ready this time.
Okay, dan moet je met maar we moeten afpakken.
We really enjoyed our time in Knysna at anchor. We did some exploring. And even tried my hand at some fishing. Wasn't very successful as this was the only thing I caught. For Christmas we cooked up a big old steak, had some rum, some fresh baked bread and some lovely views. My brother and his wife also came to visit at one point, and we did some exploring along the garden route with their car. These oaks can't even speak Afrikaans. It's most interesting facts. Nie interesting most facts nie. Ook een groot bome die hoor. also went up to the heads one day when the weather wasn't that great to see what they look like on a semi-rough day. And I can see why people try to avoid them sometimes. The heads, that is. Most interesting